Welcome to Sports Talk with RKJ. I am Steve Risser with my co-host Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli. And Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, the series is tied at a game apiece. And in Game 1, the Raptors, led by Pascal Siakam, beat the Warriors 118-109. And in Game 2, the Warriors got contributions from Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. For most of the game, he ended up getting hurt. And then Steph Curry stepped up in the second half, and they were able to beat the Raptors thanks to Andre Iguodala's game-clinching three-point shot. They were able to beat the Raptors 109-104 to even the series. But the big question for the Warriors going into Game 3 is the injuries. Kevin Durant won't play, and Klay Thompson is questionable. And looking at DeMarcus Cousins, he's a shell of himself out there. He's playing, but he's pretty much a shell of himself out there. And then looking at the Raptors going into Game 3, they need to get more from their guys outside of Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard had a great game in Game 2. He had 34 points, but Siakam was definitely not as good in Game 2. He only had 12 points. I mean, you look at Marc Gasol. He had 20 points in Game 1, only 6 points in Game 2. And Lowry and Danny Green definitely have to step up. VanVleet's been decent off the bench, but more guys off the Raptors bench have to step up too. So it should be interesting starting tonight. As the series heads out west, what happens in 1-1? But with Golden State banged up, I would not be surprised if Toronto wins tonight. So I'm really looking forward to Game 3 tonight at Oracle Arena.
Yeah, it's the first really two good games. The thing that really hurt Toronto in Game 2 is that first 6-minute stretch in that second half where Golden State went on that 11-0 run. They couldn't hit a shot. That killed them. And they were in it pretty much the rest of the game.
It's deflating.
Yeah, because you got outscored by 13 points that quarter. That was the difference right there. But yeah, somebody besides Kawhi has got to, because Siakam was 5 for 18. He did not play really great after a good first game 1. So that's disappointing to see. But look, you're going to Golden State 101. So it's not the worst thing in the world. If you could steal one, you're in great shape going to Game 5 2-2, especially with all the injuries. I think tonight for Toronto is really, really huge because I did hear KD started to work out. I don't know what his Game 4 status is. So maybe, it depends on how much. But without Klay and without KD tonight and Cousins, we mentioned, he doesn't look like his old self, but he's still trying to play through it. But we'll find out. But yeah, tonight should be a fun one, and I think it's huge on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto let one slip because they didn't, like you said, they went on that long run of just getting destroyed by Golden State. And then even though Kawhi had 34 and 14, which is an incredible game, especially a team like Golden State, shooting 8 of 20, I still need a little better percentage at least. Because other than that, no one really shot a great percentage. No one even shot 50%. You had Siakam 5 of 18, Kawhi Leonard was 8 of 20, Gasol was 2 of 7, Lowry 4 of 11. Then you have Danny Green, Powell, and Serge Ibaka all shooting 3 of 7.
Marc Gasol.
Marc Gasol. My bad. And then VanVleet, I probably just butchered that again, 7 of 17. So you need to shoot better percentage-wise because the more possessions you give to Golden State, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for threes because Curry's a 3 by Curry, especially in Oracle, that's worth double because that crowd gets hyped. It starts going crazy. It ups the pressure. It ups the noise, and it's no bueno if you're Toronto when you're playing Golden State. But right now Golden State's got to hope that Klay can come in because other than that, I mean, Curry's insanely good. Easily the best point guard that's in this game right now, and if he can't really do it by himself the way Toronto likes to play defense, because they'll mix and match and all that. If they really wanted to, and let's say Klay Thompson can't go, and obviously we know Durant ain't going to go. If I'm the Raptors, just put Kawhi Leonard on Curry. How is he going to get off of him? He's going to have to chuck up contested threes, which Curry can easily make, but to what extent? If I'm the Raptors at that point, I'd take contested threes by Curry being guarded by Kawhi all game, but No, it's gonna be good because if the Raptors don't win this, you probably ain't winning this series. You probably have no chance.
Yeah,
there's a very good chance of that because say Thompson and Durant are out of Game 3, and then maybe one of them comes back for Game 4, and so you can end up being down 3-1, and then all right, you might win in Toronto, but then you have to go to Golden State, and you're gonna have both of them back 100% in that game, and that's pretty much series over if that's the case. So this is a huge. I think it's a huge game for both teams. But I think could be even bigger for Toronto because of Golden State's injuries. I mean, they've been given kind of a golden opportunity, and they've been given a big break with them, and they really got to take advantage of that. But as I said for the Raptors, other guys have to step up. Siakam's got to have a big game tonight. Kyle Lowry's got to play better in this series. So does Danny Green. Marc Gasol's got to play how he was in Game 1. I mean, Kawhi is an outstanding player, but the last game, the reason that and you remember Ryan Holland saying after the game, this is a game that could drive Kawhi Leonard to Los Angeles, and that's a really good point he made because he really didn't have a lot of help in a game that the Raptors had a chance to win with Golden State having their best player out and then having Klay Thompson out, and the Golden State didn't even score for 5.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. They didn't score at all.
Yeah, real quick, Kyle Lowry so far, if I read this right, I believe he's 6 of 20 so far in the first 2 games.
That's not cutting it.
And then you see Siakam, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. You saw the first game, I believe it was about 14 of 17, and for a while he was shooting 100%, and then he ends up shooting 5 of 18. It's like consistency, key in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you got to be consistent. You definitely do. I mean, and that's the thing. Kawhi, the consistent guys in the Warriors. The Kawhi Leonard's pretty much really been the only consistent scorer for the Raptors this entire postseason. But I mean, he's a top 3 player. That's why the Raptors are in the NBA Finals. But still, consistent scoring. I mean, for the Warriors too, Steph Curry's probably been the most consistent scorer for them in the postseason. I mean, Draymond Green. I think a big reason they won Game 2 is because of the way Draymond Green played. He was really, really good in Game 2. And if he continues to be good, the Warriors will have a chance to win Game 3 as well.
Yeah, one assist short of a triple-double, too.
Yeah, listen. Can we stop it? We stop with this triple double stuff. I'm getting so tired of the triple double. Okay,
it's a triple double by a power forward. I think it's more impressive than
but triple doubles are not that difficult when you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, okay? But the fact that he can still move the ball though, that's because the thing is everyone on that team. I mean, look at this thing from the last game. Other than no one real out their bench given. I guess 3 by Livingston, but. He had 9 by Draymond. He had 6 by Iguodala, 6 by Cousins, 4 by Curry, 5 by Klay. So everyone can pass. And the fact that he can still get that many assists when everyone can pass to me is impressive because it just sets up their offense. Imagine if you had Draymond Green and the guy can't really pass. That team is so much worse. Because a lot of stuff what they like to do, especially like getting they put maybe him in a post, Durant in a post, even DeMarcus now that he's back, because we know he ain't the same athletically. They put those guys in the post, and they'll just run actions of screen and running around like chickens with their head cut off around screens, and eventually someone gets open. Nice pass, 3 ball. Problem is if you're the Raptors, the dynasty's wounded. They have a chink in their armor. Are you gonna? That's the right word I'm looking for. Are you gonna, yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, you're gonna take advantage of it because, right now you literally handed a golden opportunity. Like, it's gonna be Strugglesville if you don't get this because most likely Klay, if he doesn't play, in this game, he's gonna play next game. You want to try beating Klay and Curry in Oracle? Good luck.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I'm really excited for this game tonight. This should be a really, really, really good game. The crowd at Oracle is going to be loud, and I actually, honestly, I think even with the Warriors' injuries, I think the Warriors win tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Warriors too at home at Oracle. I think Curry carries them. I think big night from Curry. And one more thing too, I think Toronto also from Game 1 they forced 16 turnovers too. They won the turnover battle by it was 16-10. It was tied 15-15, but if they could force a couple of turnovers too, especially with probably just Curry tonight, maybe, but they win the turnover battle. Maybe they have a good shot too, but I'm think I'm gonna take the Warriors all at home.
I'm gonna take the Warriors. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a pretty ugly game. I think it could be something like 90-something, and it's gonna be I could possibly see OT because you saw towards the end of the game, they were doing that. The Raptors were doing that box and one against Curry, where they were just, like it says, the box and just one man constantly guarding Curry, and it was giving them struggles. So they didn't score for a while, and then honestly, if it wasn't for Livingston, like just coming out of nowhere and just yoinking that pass by Curry away from, I'm not sure who it was, but the Raptors player, then passing it to wide open Iggy, it's very well could that very well could have been a Raptors win. So it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a good game, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we'll stay on the NBA right now, and we'll talk about. I just saw a report from Stephen A. Smith that Kyrie Irving, and I don't blame him for this, prefers playing for the Nets over the Knicks, and I don't blame him for this at all. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the Nets, you're joining a team with D'Angelo Russell, who's could be one of the superstars in this league.
2 words why? James Dolan.
Yes, exactly. And they're not getting Zion Williamson, and they probably won't get Kevin Durant either.
And I actually heard this. I forget who was saying it, but the other day it's like, who is the Knicks actually attracted? Superstars besides picking Patrick Ewing and Carmelo Anthony. Who else have they ever gotten that's a superstar? I couldn't. He said nobody. And I was going through. I'm like, he's right. I'm like, the Knicks haven't been able to attract anybody like any superstars besides Carmelo. So. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Brooklyn's building something after that huge trade they made with Boston. And
how about the corpse of Amari Stoudemire?
Yeah, and that turned ugly for Brooklyn. So, I wouldn't be surprised, and that would be a nice do. Russell and Kyrie Irving.
I don't think that works.
It may. I don't.
You're like 2 very ball dominant players.
One guy would play play 2 guard. Yeah.
Which maybe that me. I don't know who that would be. I assume Kyrie's probably gonna want to put the 1, knowing Kyrie. I don't. Yeah, so
Kyrie ain't the 2.
We'll see what happens. But then hopefully that means Kemba Walker the Knicks. I would like to see that because I know that's Kemba. Kemba's from the Bronx.
It's not like you would make the Knicks any better though. I mean, you make them better, but
he
not
loves
great.
playing at the Garden. Though.
I know.
So I think he could. But.
Well, I mean, he make them better, but it's not good. Like him by himself ain't gonna,
He almost carried those Hornets to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, but we know Justin's a Kemba homer because of UConn guy.
Yeah, but he's definitely no score. But they said potentially if Kyrie does go to Brooklyn, that Durant could still go to New York and go with Kemba. Now, if he had that's not a bad squad. It's you're building pieces. Now you still gotta, get your head out of the clouds thinking you're gonna win something, and right then and there you got to build it. But I don't know if it happened to be Kemba Durant, I wouldn't mind that. That'd be an interesting little.
I think Kyrie Durant would be better, but Kemba Durant would be decent. Even though Justin loves Kemba because he probably gave him the greatest moment of his life in 2011 when they won the national championship.
But
because he wasn't old enough to remember 04 or 99.
Yeah, I remember that. I still can't believe they won that Big East tournament. So you too. So. Yeah.
But the thing is with Kyrie and Durant, now it's a more talented, yes, but I don't know if Kyrie. I'm not going to say it's oil and water, but it's like somewhat in terms of just their play style. Because it's not like Kyrie really likes to move the ball a tremendous amount. Kyrie's like a really good ISO player, and it's almost like Kobe in terms of their just love of the ISO game. He does not really like a pass happy, guy like a Rubio or Chris Paul that really likes to distribute. He just likes to score. So I feel like you'd have to have someone else on that team that would like to do that, but I don't think they really have it right now.
No, I don't. No, they don't. I don't think they really do. So that'd be that would definitely be very. I would, interesting to see playoff time because I guess Kyrie has that experience, but as we've seen, Kyrie, it's not, not great, but he needs that partner. And could Russell do that? They have been in one playoff series. They won 1 game, but. That could be interesting, and who knows with the East. They could be, a top seed in the East anyways, really. Especially if Kawhi goes out west. So it is possible maybe the Nets make a run, but...
If Kawhi goes out west, the East is going to be... What's a nice way of saying it? Like, terrible.
They got to redo that.
It'd be Philly and Milwaukee.
Compared to, there's the level of star power is not... It's like... it's not even close. You literally... I think you have, one... legitimate superstar, and then every other superstar is all in the West. If Kawhi goes, Clippers or let's say, but I don't know. It's gonna be an exciting offseason because I remember again seeing a graphic where it's a day or two ago saying about the possible free agent because there's some I think with player options. And it's almost like the who's who of basketball.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, dude, the money that's going to be handed out is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be max contracts. It's going to easily be over. I think that it's a possibility it could be over I think it was over $2 billion in money. And that's only a handful of players.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get more into the NBA offseason. We'll be talking a lot of it this summer, so we'll definitely get into that later on this summer. But we're now going to talk about the NFL and mandatory OTAs for most teams started yesterday, and also Gerald McCoy has been signed. Finally, the end of this offseason has pretty much ended because the final domino has fallen. Gerald McCoy has signed. He signed a 1-year, $8.5 million deal with the Panthers. If you look at the Panthers, this front seven, and we kind of been saying this ever since for a while about the Panthers, probably since 2013, and even more. We put more of an emphasis on this since Josh Norman's been traded because of how important their front seven has been and how good it is. I mean, you look at their front seven now. You got the best linebacker in the game, no argument, Luke Kuechly. You got K'Wan Short in the middle. You got you got Shaq Thompson, you drafted Brian Burns, now you got Gerald McCoy. This front seven, even though their secondary is really bad, this front seven should be really, really good for this team. And I think McCoy is really going to help this defense a lot.
Yeah, well, definitely. And it's, I'm not surprised he chose Carolina. Now he gets to face Tampa twice a year.
That would be the only reason.
Yeah.
That is, I want to win.
Yeah. Which who knows in Carolina, they'll have a decent team, but with Carolina, with the line that they have, they're not going to have a lot of time to that secondary is not going to have too much to worry about covering wide receivers too long because they will get pressure on the QB, I believe. And with the, I guess the South with, who knows what happened with Atlanta with all those injuries, they still healthy. They'll probably be pretty good. New Orleans, of course, is going to be good. Tampa's going to be in the basement. They definitely have a shot to win this with South. They're maybe even get a wild card. It's another nice piece to have for him.
Yeah, pass rush in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That could win. But Gerald McCoy with, like I said, with this whole I want to win thing, no. Unless, to me, you can smell the shenanigans coming off that because you signed with the Panthers. Now, they're a good squad. They ain't Tampa. So you got yourself out of the basement of the NFL. But let's be honest, Panthers going to win? What do you think? Panthers going to have a chance to win a Super Bowl?
No.
You think they absolutely do. I mean, if you look at it, they absolutely do. Listen, Cam Newton's shoulder, that's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a really big deal. I guarantee you that two shoulder surgeries in the last 2 years. I'll guarantee you that. But look at the front seven. That's a really good front seven. Cam Newton, when healthy, I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. He's a really good quarterback. Yes, the offensive line's a major question. They did go out and sign Matt Paradis in the offseason, but left tackle is a major issue for that team. The offensive line is definitely a question. But if you look at Christian McCaffrey right now, he's one of the best running backs. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL right now, but one of the best running backs in the league. DJ Moore is an up and coming receiver. Christian McCaffrey is better than Alvin Kamara. He's a better player than Alvin Kamara.
Better runner.
He's a better running back than Alvin Kamara. He can catch the ball in the backfield and he can run in between the tackles. So the Panthers are definitely a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're one of those teams that has hope. I'm not saying they're like a top 4 or 5 team in the NFC, but they're a team that has hope. Yes, they went 7-9 last year, but they started the season 6-2, and then Cam Newton wasn't 100% last year.
Well, other than DJ Moore, who do they have at wide receiver? Curtis Samuel. He's an interesting little change of pace.
They also have one of the top running backs in the league, Kyle. They have Christian McCaffrey. Is basically a slot receiver. He's basically a third down receiver too. Come on now.
But you need at least another like DJ Moore right now, he could potentially develop into a 1 because the guy is definitely talented. But he's a 2. You don't have a number 1 receiver because you lost Funchess. I'm not saying Funchess is setting the world on fire, but you lost a tall weapon, especially in the red zone. Greg Olsen seems like that guy. It's unfortunate because that dude seems like one of the nicest guys in the world and probably the whole NFL. The guy's a very talented, especially catching wise, tight end, but he always gets hurt. It's just it's unfortunate, but that's the only reason why. I just don't think they're. I guess they technically have a chance, but if I'm putting money on, they're probably at least fifth or sixth on my team. I honestly don't think they have a chance.
The NFC is pretty even. Yeah, you look at the people think the Saints are really good, but I think the Saints could fall off this year. You look at Drew Brees' age. Kamara's now got to be an every down back, and let me tell you, their defense. They had for 3 years running. They had one of the worst defense in the league in the league before they changed the way they played, putting an emphasis on running the football. Once Mark Ingram went to the Ravens, so and now Alvin Kamara's got to be the number one back, and we'll see what happens there. So the division, I think between the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers, they're all pretty even right now. And look at the Falcons last year. Yes, they went 7-9, but look at the injuries they had. They lost Devontae Freeman for the season. Deion Jones missed time. Grady Jarrett missed time. Keanu Neal was out for the year. Ricardo Allen was out for the year. They had a bunch of injuries last year. And look at when that team's been healthy in the Dan Quinn era. You guys know very well they should have won the Super Bowl against the Patriots,
and they did.
And they pretty much were. Then they pretty much were driving at the end of the game to beat the Eagles, who ended up winning the Super Bowl the next year. So it's very even between the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers in the NFC. In the NFC
I wouldn't
South.
be surprised to see the two teams that don't win the South be the wild card teams. I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be either. You look at what the Falcons did in the NFC in this draft. They drafted 2 offensive linemen. They got McGarry and they got I'm trying to think the other Lindstrom. They got an offensive guard and an offensive tackle to improve that offensive line. That offense could be really good this year. But that offensive line, if Devontae Freeman's healthy, Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in the game. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. So the Falcons offensively, the Falcons could be good. You got the Panthers and you got the Saints, all are pretty even. Then Tampa Bay is obviously the worst team in that division. Even though they got Ndamukong Suh and they drafted a Devin White, Jameis Winston's a major question mark at quarterback. They don't have a running game. We'll see what ends up with Bruce Arians. It's going to be interesting with Bruce Arians.
Use Ronald Jones too. I don't think I ever saw that man play.
Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Bruce Arians does there. If he can control Jameis Winston. If he can't, they're probably going to be drafting a quarterback next year. But yeah, I mean, it's going to
tank for Tua.
This is definitely an interesting move in the NFC South.
But real quick, I just don't, because the reason I could think Panthers could possibly have a chance at running for a wild card spot, but I just don't trust them when it comes to playoff. I don't trust Cam Newton come playoff time. If you're having me put my because I'll say real quick because I know we want to move on, but the teams I think that are going to be better than Carolina, I think Philly for sure. I think Dallas has a chance. The Bears have a chance. I think Packers are going to be a lot better, especially on defense. Because defense, I think, is actually going to be pretty good. And then I think Saints will. I'm going to go for my other hand because I'm running out of space. The Falcons, I think, could be. I think the Rams are. And I think possibly the Niners, but I'd rather put money right now on the
Niners have improved it, but I think
I'm saying a possibility, but yeah, I'd pick Panthers over Niners right now. The Niners have to show for me. So right now I'm at about 7 teams I'd take over Panthers.
All right, so I would say teams I would take over the Panthers. With a healthy Carson Wentz, I take the Eagles. I'm not taking the Cowboys. Their ceiling since Jerry Jones has been the GM has been the divisional round. So I'm not taking the Cowboys.
I think they improved their slot receiver though. I think Cobb is better.
They did. It's a Cowboys. Still, yeah. We know that. So in the NFC North, I'd probably take the Bears and the Packers over them. I'm not taking the Vikings. I'm not taking any team with Kirk Cousins who can't win a big game. No, stop it. Patricia will be gone after next year. Patricia will be gone after the season. But all right, so I'll go Eagles, Bears, Packers, and it's so easy even in the South to pick a team. But I'll still go Falcons and Saints. So that's 5. But that can very easily change once the season starts. And then in the West, I would probably go Rams, and I might even go Seahawks. So I'm at 7 too. But still, there are probably 11 teams that you could say have hope to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. You start with the NFC East, Eagles, and I'll say the Cowboys, even though for me they're probably 11 out of 11. So I mean, yeah, I'll go Eagles, Cowboys. You look at the NFC North. You go Bears and Packers. I'm not going Vikings. I'm sorry, their defense is really good, but that quarterback's got to prove he's going to win a big game. So that's 4. You go to the South. I'm going Saints, Panthers, and Saints, Panthers, and Falcons. So that's 7. And then you go to the West, and I'm going 3 more too. I'm going Rams, even though the Gurley's thing, which we'll get to, with Gurley Gurley could be on his way down. So you got the Rams, I'm picking the 49ers. I think the 49ers a big year for Lynch and Shanahan. They really can surprise some people. I like their front four with Boza, Buckner, and D Ford. And let me tell you, if Jimmy Garoppolo can play well with George Kittle, I think this team can be really good. A big reason why they weren't good last year is because Garoppolo got hurt. I mean, that was a huge reason. I mean, it was a huge drop off from Jimmy G to Mullins. And then you still got to go with the Seahawks, even though there's concerns on defense. As long as Russell Wilson's back there, they're a contender and they have hope. So I'm not even saying Super Bowl contenders, teams that have hope to go to the Super Bowl if things fall right. So I'd say that's 10 teams in the NFC. So that's why out of those 10, I'd have Carolina 8 right now.
Yeah, I think okay. Like real quick, I'll finish off saying that I think they could have a chance at a playoff, but I just wouldn't bet on them once it comes to playoff. I mean, that's not even counting the AFC teams. I mean, there's a lot of AFC teams I'd pick over them if it it happened, they happen to make it to the Super Bowl. But my personal thing, like again, I got to see Cam. I got to see Cam be clutch for at least one season.
I mean, he had one unbelievable season.
Yeah, he had one unbelievable season, but
we know what happened in the Super Bowl. He was terrible. Yeah.
But so did Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan had one unbelievable.
Yeah, but I think listen. Cam Newton definitely has more upside than Matt Ryan. I never thought of Matt Ryan as an MVP caliber player. Even during that MVP season, he threw a lot of fourth quarter interceptions. The reason he got that MVP was because he had the highest quarterback rating. He had a great offensive coordinator in Kyle Shanahan. He had the best wide receiver in the game in Julio Jones. So that's why. But Cam Newton, I think, did more for his team that year than Ryan did for his team.
He definitely did. Like, he has more upside, but at the same time, like, Cam Newton, his problem was always consistent.
Yeah, I agree with you. Accuracy, consistency, decision making. Yes, I got it. Yep.
Come time, and especially come playoff time, defenses tend to tighten up. It becomes more of a strugglesville, and you got to become more, better with your reads. And Cam Newton making his reads ain't great. Like, and then especially come playoff time when that dude's chucking passes Mach 5, even though it's a drag route, like a 2-yard route, but the guy's hurling it like Nolan Ryan fastball out there, and it's like, dude, learn some touch. Like, I never understand that. That's why, like, Cam Newton's a great talent. He right now, pure physical ability, he's probably right up there with probably the top 3 quarterbacks. So the problem is, it never meshes right. Because if you had the ability to pass 65% completion percentage, let's say, dude might be right there with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But right now he ain't. Because right now he ain't even close to sniffing tier 1. We all know that. He's maybe a tier, I could see him as like a possible tier 2, but I'd say like a middle tier 2 right now. So that's the only problem. Like, I'll trust that defense because that pass rush travels. Luke Kuechly can travel. we know that dude ain't ever gonna not be good. But the problem is, I just don't trust that secondary, because sometimes, like, when teams have time to scheme for you and they know you're going to go even 100, 10%, 120%, even more against that secondary, if you go up against a loaded offensive team, burnt like toast. I don't care how good that pass rush is. That secondary is going to get exposed. Yeah. And that's why that could be the downfall.
Yes, I could agree with you there. I mean, because I remember seeing the Panthers play the Giants last year, and the Panthers were up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, and they almost lost the game because they couldn't stop the Giants passing. They couldn't stop Eli or Beckham at the end of the game. But at least they won on a 63-yard field goal. That was the problem with their secondary.
If I'm them, I'd talk to Eric Berry and just see what his health is at, because it can't be worse than what your safeties are now. It's like
Eric Reed's okay.
No, I'm saying Eric Berry. Okay. I'm saying
but Eric Reed's on there.
Oh yeah. He ain't.
No, I know.
Yeah, but I don't. I would just a way to improve it, because it's only gonna be a short deal. So
yeah, but so we'll keep talking a little bit about OTAs, and Le'Veon Bell seems to be looking good for those Jets. You fear that threat? Come on, you guys fear the threat with Le'Veon Bell?
I think they'll beat us in New York. But
he don't have that Steelers, and that's the problem. The reason why his style was so good in Pittsburgh is because that offensive line was so good. I mean,
that's a really good point, because of his patient running style.
Yeah, you can be patient all the time, but if it's Swiss cheese and people coming in like, ow, my hand, sorry. No, but you have like Hightower coming in through one of the gaps and smacking you. Cool, your patient style. I just don't see it. Like, they're going to be a solid squad, but I don't see them being that. But yeah, Bell's good. He's probably the best dual threat back there is. But how's the rust going to be off that? Because he can play in preseason, but no one cares about preseason. No one's going 110% in preseason unless you're trying to make the squad.
Yeah,
Le'Veon Bell, we all know, is making the squad, but I don't know. He's going to be good, but how is it going to mesh in the first season? Is my question about it.
Yeah, and my point for Le'Veon is he lost a lot of weight. Looks like, and he looked like he was built and he had some size. Now he kind of, I wouldn't say he skinned, but he slimmed down a lot. So I wonder if if he still got that strength to break all those with his body that he had. Of course, they had the picture, but it was wow, that's Le'Veon Bell. It's the first time I've, seen him in uniform in a while. Couldn't really recognize him, if you didn't put his name underneath. But yeah, he'll help this offense a lot, which didn't really have really good running backs. They had Powell, and
I think they had one of the worst rated running back cores and wide receiving cores last year. And did they improve their wide receiving?
A little bit. They improved a little bit. They went out and got Jamison Crowder. It's not a big addition, but still, it's a little bit of an addition. I think this wide receiving core is a little bit better than you think with Robbie Anderson and Jamison Crowder and Chris Heerden too, the tight end.
And it definitely helps out now that you have Le'Veon Bell for that play action.
Yeah, so, play action. He's going to help. He's going to give Darnold easy completions, catching balls. When Darnold throws screens him in the flat, he's definitely going to help Darnold. Give him easy completions. I think that he might be potentially the best skill player in this division. I mean, he might be even. This might be a stretch if Brady falls off a little bit, but he might be the best player in this division, offensive player in this division at the end of the season. It could be. It could happen. Yeah, I know Kyle's in denial about it, but we'll see.
I can't. I think that's Brady's until it's not his anymore. Until he shows that he can't. But
it isn't. But still, I like the way Bell looked yesterday, and the Pats fans got to start seeing this as a little bit of a threat. You got a young quarterback. You got an offensive head coach in Adam Gase.
Decent, but
offensive coach Adam Gase, who did a really good job. Who did a pretty good job in Miami.
I gotta see it for a season before I'm not saying they ain't gonna be terrible. Definitely they're gonna finish. No. They're gonna finish second AFC, and they definitely. I can see them as a wild card, but I could see them beating us once, because especially in New York, they always seem to play us. It's like Miami. It's just play us tough. Although we beat the Jets in New York more than, of course, Miami. But it's one of those things. Again, I got to see it. Okay, yes, the wide receiving core is improved slightly. Crowder's a good slot guy when healthy. Robbie Anderson seems like he always has some issue off the field. If he can correct that, it could be nice. But Darnold's a good quarterback. He's gonna be proven. It's always that sophomore slump. How are your, now that they have tape on you, how are your adjustments going to be? What are you going to do? Because you are, like I said, they now have tape, so now they know your tendencies to next time. Now with a new head coach, tendencies might change up, but how are they gonna do in against Miami? How are they gonna do against Buffalo? So it's gonna be they're gonna be a nice team, but I honestly I could see them as possible. At the max, I'd say it's 10-6 and win one wild card game.
I think,
and then get smacked.
I think it could be 11-5. I think it'd be very similar. It could be very similar to what the Rams were 2 years ago. Coming in, offensive head coach, second-year quarterback. You had McVay and Goff. Last year, with the Bears, bringing in an offensive head coach and then bringing in Mitch Trubisky. So you had a first-year offensive head coach, second-year quarterback, and now seeing the trend. Adam Gase, offensive head coach, second-year quarterback. I think the Bears of 2017, the Rams of 2017. The Bears of 2018 and then the Jets of 2019. You could see that trend, and I think that trend could continue. I actually think the Jets could be a playoff team this year. I like what they did in the offseason. I like them going out and getting Bell. I like them going out and getting C.J. Mosley, who's going to be a leader on that defense. And even though there's dysfunction in the organization, the Gase-McCagnon thing, I think Gase is going to be able to pick the GM. Gase is a better coach than a lot of people think, and I also like them getting Quentin Williams. So I think the Jets very easily a playoff contender this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. And and I think for wild card, it's really wide open in the AFC too right now. Buffalo and Miami, I think we could all say aren't making the playoffs. But then in the North, you still got the Ravens, you got the Browns, who are really improved, and then you got Pittsburgh, of course. They lost Bell and Brown, but you still got Big Ben.
Poor Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati's out of nowhere. And then again, the South's going to be really good too with three, even four really good teams.
Yeah, you could legitimately have four teams have a legitimate chance to win that division.
Yeah, and then
that's insane. That's talent.
Yeah, and then
that might be the best and competitive division in all of football this year.
Yeah,
I think it's that AFC South.
And it may not be the best. Tennessee and Jacksonville probably aren't Super Bowl contenders, but they're still going to be definitely playoff contenders. So
hey, I had to believe in Nick Foles.
Yeah. And then out west, you got the Chiefs, Chargers. and the Raiders, which we'll see what the offense does now with those, but defense could be an issue. So then the Broncos, their offense is bad. So there's a lot of teams that could be a wild card. I right now I could definitely see the Jets being one of those two teams. I'd like to see how they how Bell does with that Russ for a couple of weeks, but I think Jets definitely do have a chance to make a wild card.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. They'll make a wild card, but the thing is, Sam Darnold come playoff time, I think, like I said, he could potentially win one game, depending on, of course, who it is, and obviously, weather, home field advantage in that game. But I think because there's a difference in facing a team in a wild card round and then versus more often than not the big boys when it comes to divisional round. There's going to be a difference. If he happens to play, say, happens to be a team like possibly the Patriots, Chiefs, Chargers, one of the 4 teams possibly coming out of the AFC South. He's going to be welcome to big boy ball, and he ain't ready for that as of right now. Maybe next year, they could be a very, very nice team. This year, they're building the culture. It ain't there yet, though.
We'll see what ends up happening. We'll stay in the AFC East, and there's a comment by Adam Humphries. Kyle brought this to my attention. There's a comment by Adam Humphries saying that he would rather sign with Marcus Mariota than Tom Brady because of Tom Brady's age. But the problem is Marcus Mariota's on the final year of his deal, too, and has not gotten a long-term contract as well. So I don't think...
Which is there's a reason.
Yeah, and he's very injury-prone as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Tannehill's the quarterback of that team midway through the season. So, I mean, so he'd rather sign with Mariota, who he's not... So he'd rather sign with an average or below-average quarterback with Mariota than play with Tom Brady, who, yes, he's going to be 42, but he's still a 6-time Super Bowl champion and still one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this league. He's not the best quarterback, in my opinion, in this league anymore, but he's still one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this league right now. I'm not a hater. I'm just being realistic, but still, one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this league right now.
This is the one thing I want to say is there's not a lot of guarantees in the NFL. One of the things you can guarantee the NFL is Patriots making the playoffs. Now, do you want to bank on Tennessee making the playoffs, especially in the AFC South, where we said
they might be worse this year? Because it might be worse because you look at Jacksonville's improved. Indy's going to be improved throughout the season. Indy started 1-5 last year. They're going to be improved throughout the year. And obviously, Houston, they might not be great because their offensive line's terrible, but they'll still be a 9-10 win team.
Yeah, that's why it's like I understand, obviously, like having the the questions about how long Brady's going to play for, but. How often do you have a guarantee in the NFL that for probably another 2 to 3 years, of course, depending on how long Brady plays, barring injury, do you have a guarantee that you're could play for a team that's going to make the playoffs? You can guarantee he's going to make the playoffs because it's purely of the AFC East, and that will have a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl, or possibly be in a Super Bowl and then to win it. And you rather take the Titans? I mean, maybe the issue was money, depending, because obviously we all know the Patriots are a little, kind of a little tight with money in terms of giving it out. Maybe, but hey, I mean, whatever. Do you? At least he got out of Tampa.
Yeah,
exactly. I ain't got a problem with that.
Yeah,
maybe he really likes to barbecue in Tennessee. Huh?
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll talk a little bit more about OTAs. OBJ was at Browns OTAs yesterday.
Hallelujah.
And Freddie Kitchens, who kind of criticized him last week, saying he's missing a lot, didn't want anything to hear about it yesterday, and he's all in on Odell Beckham right now, and going to be a very interesting season for the Browns. You saw Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice but to be all in.
Yeah. You see Baker Mayfield's beef with Colin Cowherd. They've been going back and forth. I mean, that's crazy. An NFL quarterback's going at it with a talk. I mean, Colin Cowherd's a really good talk radio host, but still going at it with a talk radio host. And we'll see. This is going to be interesting for the Browns because of all these big personalities, and they got a lot of talent on that team. Probably the most talented team in the AFC North. Even though I don't think they're going to win the AFC North, I think the Steelers are. But I mean, there's a lot of big time personalities, and it's going to be a very, very interesting year for them. Yes, they improved at the skill position, even though their offensive line got worse. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the Browns this year.
And I think the Browns, I'm talking just pure talent-wise in AFC, could be right there with the Chargers in terms of just the most talented. Now, is it going to be all put together though? But that talent, there's loaded with that. You have the fact that you have Denzel Ward and the NFL teams in the draft were stupid enough to Greedy Williams fall to the second round. Now, I understand the guy doesn't tackle the most, but the guy can cover. The guy has length. The guy has speed. The guy has technique in terms of coverage. You pair him with Denzel Ward. You're going to have Greedy Williams. Just crack my hand. Then you have Myles Garrett on the line. Sheldon Richardson? Did he go?
Sheldon Richardson.
Richardson. I can't. Was it?
Olivier Vernon.
Olivier Vernon. There's Emmanuel Agba as well. So you have talent there. Middle line, like, or linebacking, wise, it's it's not great. It's not
head coach and quarterback would be the question mark for this team, especially head coach. He's a first-year head coach. A lot of people don't think he's ready to be a head coach in the NFL right now.
Yeah, with this locker room too, with as many egos could get injured. Imagine they were one of McCoy's last year too, so you would have added him too.
Beginning of the season is going to be so crucial for them because this thing could completely blow up. This thing could fall apart.
That's why I say this team will either be 12-4 or like 4-12.
And this is their first 6 weeks too. Home versus Tennessee, playing on the road at the Jets.
The Jets is a tougher game you think too now.
Yeah, home versus the Rams, in Baltimore, in San Fran, and then home in Seattle.
And San Fran's a tougher game with Garoppolo back. Yep.
And at the Bay Area, that's their first 6 games.
Good luck.
That is
they play the Patriots too in week 8.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, they have to buy in then New England. So that is a tough first 7.
And this is one question I want to ask you guys. So I was having this argument with a Browns fan. I feel like
a Browns fan.
No, it's through Xbox. They do exist apparently. But I just one question. I feel like it's a pretty simple answer. I feel like. So I was talking with this guy, and again, I was saying the thing about establishing the culture, because obviously we all know the Browns have been terrible for a while, and they always seem to mess up, however it may be, in a big situation, especially in the playoffs. We know the stuff, when like Kozar's, teams and all that. I was saying they need to establish the culture. Now they're in process of building said culture, but you need to establish it, especially with having a first-year head coach. And I was telling this guy that I feel like they need to establish the culture, or build the culture and then establish it. And he's like, well, the culture was established last year because I think they went, 7-2 or something like that once they switched coaches. Like they were actually a pretty good.
The problem is the coach they have now was not the coach they had when they fired.
Exactly, and this is all tying into what I was saying. He's like, because I was saying you have a first-year head coach. Like a first-year head coach, and he was like, "Yeah, but look what Sean McVay did his first year." I'm like, "You want to really put money that this guy's gonna be Sean McVay?" No.
Oh, come on.
Exactly. I was like,
he doesn't even sound like Sean McVay at all.
Exactly. I was like, at least Sean McVay did something when he was an offensive coordinator. That offense in Washington was actually good.
Kirk Cousins has gotten worse since he left. Yeah.
And then Kitchens was just terrible. I'm sorry, terrible. It's probably a little disrespectful. He wasn't a top level guy, so. It's like, I'm like, you really want to put money on that? Let's say come playoff time. You want to put money on that against, let me see the coaches. Belichick, loss. Mike Tomlin, loss. Bill O'Brien in Houston, loss. Frank Wright and with the Colts, loss. Andy Reid, Chiefs, loss. God, what's the guy from the Chargers that I'm having a break for?
Anthony Lynn.
Yeah. Anthony Lynn, come playoff time, especially that team, loss. Like, you really want to bet money on that? I'm like, yeah, like that. And I just feel like, and I said to this guy too, and again, this is trying to be a little disrespectful, but it was getting a little heated. I'm like, that is the stuff I expect from a Browns fan to say after having half a season where you were good, to say as culture was established. That is the typical Browns fan. That is the loser's mentality. Oh yeah, we had a good half a season. Our culture's established. Shut up. No, your culture, you haven't established a dang thing. Yeah, that just gets on my nerves. That is typical Browns fans mentality. Your culture is not established. You're in the process of building it. You ain't there yet. You had about 50% loading right now.
I still can't believe they hired Greg Williams after what they did with that defense. I'm surprised.
I think Baker wanted an offensive-minded head coach, and this is the coach Baker Mayfield wanted, so they let Baker pick the coach.
Yeah, especially with all the new pieces they have. Like Denzel Ward Greedy Williams could be a big addition to that, a new player. Olivier Vernon, new piece. Sheldon Richardson, new piece. OBJ, new piece. Possibly Kareem Hunt after an 8-game suspension, new piece. You have all these new pieces. Freddie Kitchens, new piece. I'm gonna keep going on a rant at that point, but I don't see it as culture established. I see it as culture is in a process of being built.
Yes, I agree with you there, Kyle. So lastly, we'll talk about one player who is holding out for a team that has not been used to winning for a long time for the Washington Redskins. Trent Williams is holding out right now. He's not at OTAs, and the problem is the Redskins. Even Zach Brown yesterday ripped the Redskins, said the Eagle culture is much better than the Redskins culture, and that's completely agreed, I think, from everybody in this room. And Trent Williams wants a new deal. The only issue is Trent Williams has missed 13 games. He's a really good, great left tackle, but last year he didn't make the Pro Bowl, and he's missed 13 games in the last 3 seasons. Your best availability is very important in the NFL, and he hasn't been as available as he was earlier in his career. So, I mean, the Redskins right now, even though they did draft Dwayne Haskins, they are still a mess. They lost Truman Foster for the season. Now they got Trent Williams holding out. So the Redskins are still a mess, and could be a team the Giants might be able to beat out in the NFC East.
Maybe. I wouldn't go too far, but maybe. It's good to have some hope. But with Haskins, playing against Haskins, you angered Haskins off. So that could get ugly. But I'm
right there with you on that.
Yeah, with Trent Williams, it's interesting. I understand why these guys do it because they want the contract. They don't want to be in that one year deal where they do get hurt.
Yeah, you're a lame duck at that point.
Yeah, so I understand when they do it. And I know it's mandatory OTAs or whatever, but I don't know. I've still always been a guy like, all right, you should be there. Figure it out. Don't just walk. Just don't sit home and do whatever.
Also, I would just try to get off of the Redskins. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. That's just the reason why. Because that team, I think in the NFL is probably the most dysfunctional team that there is. And
they had division on drafting Dwayne Haskins or not because Gruden wanted to keep Case Keenum. The ownership wanted Haskins. They had division there during the draft.
It's just, I don't know. I don't know. The Redskins, they're a mess. They're an absolute mess. And the fact that, again, it's the same thing of, remember, 3-4 years ago when they had the "You Like That" movement or whatever you want to call that stuff. You saw that die out quick, thank God, because I was just getting on the nerves. But I mean, if you're Trent Williams, actually, because what is he, about 30, 31 roughly? He's probably over 30. You obviously you want to get your money. I'm never in the problem of NFL players getting their money because they don't make nearly as much as they should just because of the pure wear and tear on a body, especially the possible injuries down the line, especially with the head injuries. But it's gonna be a sticky situation because he's gonna want his money because he knows a team that this year especially is not going to be doing much. So I don't know. It's an ugly situation for all parties.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You do want to pay your lineman though to protect that quarterback,
especially your Haskins, especially your left tackle too.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, having Dwayne Haskins start and having no left tackles could be very, very difficult for the Redskins this year, and difficult for Dwayne Haskins.
That is literally the formula right there to mess disaster, and not only to mess up his rookie year, just to mess up the dude's career. Because if you start off on that bad of a mark, especially with losing some of the weapons he has, and especially with Josh Doxson is his weapon. Ooh, that is a formula to start down a dark path.
Yeah.
You need to at least help the man out, get some at least protection.
So I'm going to delegate the last 15 minutes of the show to Justin and Kyle. We are going to talk.
You're going to talk too.
I'll talk a little bit about it. This is the Stanley Cup final right now. The series is tied at 2 apiece. Yes, Kyle is very upset from what happened Monday night. Kyle's very, very
sorry
upset
for anyone that just ears blew out.
I know. Yeah, very upset about what happened Monday night. The series is tied at 2 apiece. The Bruins won on Saturday night 7-2, and then on Monday night the Blues win 4-2. Now the series is tied at 2 games apiece. They go back to the TD Garden to play Thursday night in a huge game, and this should be. I mean, yes, I'm not as a huge hockey fan. I'm even into the series. Yes, if the Bruins would have won on Monday, I had a rant prepared about how the Blues being in the Stanley Cup was bad for the NHL.
Story,
but still,
but they've been in the NHL for a while. Too.
No. Being in the Stanley Cup final.
I know, but I'm saying, but they're not it's a new Carol.
My point there was just based on talent. I know one player on the entire team, Tarasenko. That's it.
The team is talented though. Yeah. They just don't have the household names. I guess is the best way to say it. But if you want a quick synopsis of what my text chat was before, it's just imagine a whole lot of bleep, and that's essentially what it was. But it's just the fact that so far you have game 2, you have a golden opportunity because I'll say right now, the 2 games the Bruins won, so game 1 and 3, they clearly outplayed the Blues for majority of those games, especially when they got outplayed first period because they're building out the rest after having that 2-week not the Aussie, but 2-week delay because of the series, and obviously had to wait for the start Stanley Cup. They got outplayed in the first period. They dominated second and third period. It wasn't close. Game 3, they dominated them again. No contest. So you dominate the first 2 games that you've won so far. You've dominated. Game 2, they were getting beat down pretty good. Now, it wasn't exactly the prettiest thing in the world. That is for sure. But you see in let me make sure I have the right names of who scored the goals by
O'Reilly.
Yeah. So in game 2 you have Bertuzzo scored that the first goal. That was just that look, I'm just gonna put a shot and it happens to bounce off. I might have been Matt Grizzly, but I'm not sure who the defenseman was. And it's just that pure just dumb luck goal. And it's not even like a skill shot we hit into a tight window. That's just that's dumb luck. And then you have when Vladimir Tarasenko scored. That is just Marchand doing one of the stupidest things I've ever seen a single hockey player, especially a veteran who I think is about 30, if not 30, do. He's been in the league for a long time. Was on the Stanley Cup team or as a rookie in 2011. So he's been on the team for a while. I don't know why I'm doing this, but that happens. It's just guard your man. Chara's on that side. You're on this side. Don't go here and make Char go, dude, what you doing? And then try to, and you literally set the Bruins up for failure right then and there. You don't do that, you could easily have won that game. You would have been up 2-0 going into St. Louis, where at the time they were 500, I believe. Yeah, they were 5-5 at that point. Golden opportunity to go up 3-0. Now it was 1-1. Now you come back game 3, you dominate game 3. Now you're up 2-1. I guarantee you, they win game 4. The last game. They're closing out in 5. I think there's no way the energy in that. They're closing that out in 5. Now, I'm trying to keep it PG because boy, I'm getting annoyed. Yeah. But. So you start off, it was just that, of course, it's just that shenanigans bounced to O'Reilly, but then we made a nice, quick wrap around, good play. Then you have Coyle, Charlie Coyle get that nice goal. It's okay, good. Back on track. Because at that point, they were getting, they were kind of getting dominated there for a while. Good, he get that goal. Then you have Tarasenko's goal, short that, and it's just oh my god, you gotta be kidding, really? And then you had the goal, the shorthanded goal by Brandon Carlo. It's yes, good, yes. Back in it. You tied it. Okay. Momentum back in your favor. And then I don't know who shot the puck from the Blues, but of course
I think it was Petrangelo.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but it might have been. It was either that or Braden Shen. Maybe I don't know. One of those.
No, I think it was Shen.
Yeah, because I think it was a left hand, but it hits the stick of Chara. It goes up. And at the time, you think it probably just cut him a little bit because he got up quick too. And a lot of times when people get hit now, I understand it wasn't a shot from a far distance. It's not like he got hit by the puck by face. But I'm trying to think of 55 on the table. Parco. Sorry, dude. I probably just butchered the name. But 55, he has just a cannon slap shot. It's not like he got hit in the face by that, because he got hit in the face by that. R.I.P. It ain't gonna be pretty for that man. So it's just a simple shot. It literally is probably about the same distance that me and Justin are right now, which is what this. Let me see. This far, camera. Okay, it's this far. That's probably about as far as the shot went, and it broke his jaw. Yeah. And it's he came back on the ice, so I guess it's not terrible. It's shattered, but how much are you gonna play? At that point, the defense was just not the same. I don't know what it was. It was just. It's when they ended up giving up that third goal, which. This is the one goal that just it just really peeves me. It really just gets on the nerves, because you end up where you're in the finals. You're in the Stanley Cup finals. You, like I said, golden opportunity. You go up 3-1, or a chance to go up 3-1 and probably close out in game 5 in my mind. You make a bad, and you never change a majority of, you never change your line a majority of it, so at least 3, unless you get the puck in deep. The puck got to the red line. You don't do that. So you let them easy access into the zone, and then you don't guard. It's like a simple thing of like boxing out in the NBA. Get a body on a body. They didn't do that. That is day one. I knew that because I played hockey when I was in first grade elementary school. I knew that then. If you fools don't know it now, and you 30, and you're in the Stanley Cup, you're in the Stanley. This ain't preseason, this ain't regular. This is the Stanley Cup Finals, and the clutch situation tied 2-2, and in the visitors' stadium with a goal opportunity to put a stranglehold on this series, and you don't do it, and you just mess up on the fundamentals. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like, and after that, they were done. It's like, which I understand Charles a big piece, especially quite literally a big piece. It's like they were lost. That guy got hurt. They were lost.
Yeah, and I'll come at it from the St. Louis side here. After Saturday night, that was very impressive. After getting an absolute beatdown, 7-2, the Bruins were 4 for 4 in the power play. They still had 3 penalties, but the penalty kill was much, much better.
I think they only got really like one of the power plays they had, the Bruins had, that was like a really like decent chances.
Yeah.
Other than that, they shut it down pretty good.
Yeah, and then Jordan Bennington, he now has 7 wins after a loss this postseason, which is second all time, and the 3 others, I can't remember one of them. Heavy Bulin, I can't remember his first name.
Nikolai Heavy Bulin.
Mika Kiprusoff.
Mika Kiprusoff.
So that's in pretty good company right there. So he looked a lot better. He said he was on the ice early, didn't look at any film. And I thought the Bruins had him rattled, and I thought, wow, this is like the first time that I've seen Bennington look kind of scared out there.
Well, the problem with that man was his 5-hole. Like I think the game 2 and 3, I think they said the Bruins scored 5 goals for their 5-hole. That's not good.
Yeah,
that's like easy access.
Yeah. So
you just had to keep the puck on the ground. Yeah, and just slide it on in. So
yeah, he did
bounce back.
Much better job with that. And then the Blues, that third period, I didn't know it was that down, but the Blues that shot the Bruins 13-4 that period. I didn't know it was that lopsided. And then the last guy was Zach Sanford, who was a scratch the first 2 games, came on for Sundqvist's suspension, played in game 4 and had an assist in 5 hits. And he was all over the ice. He had a pretty good game. Blues, and they took their mentality like their coach. They just bring the body. He called, he didn't call it a team, but he kind of called out with all the penalties. They take the mentality like their coach, and it works. And this Blue team has been a great story from where they're from.
And like what really annoys me with in terms of the thing, because I'm looking now, like saying Barry Melrose said that the refs let the Bruins and the Blues play in Game 4. It's like, I'm not sure if it was the same like refereeing like group, because I wasn't paying attention to that, but it's like the fact that I think in Game 3, I'm gonna look it up real quick because I know the Blues had a lot of. Obviously, they they're 4 for 4 on So St. Louis had 12 penalty minutes in Game 3 compared to 4 whatever it was. But it's like not news, and it's the fact that I just hate. It's like all I ask from any referee, or if it, like baseball, if it's hockey, I want consistency in terms of play calls, penalty calls. Like, if you're gonna let them play in Game 1, let them play in Game 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If it happens to go that long. Like baseball, I want whatever the game is. I just want your strike zone. If it's going to be this the whole game, keep it this. Don't have it be this to this to this to this. I don't want that. Football, if you were going to call a flag in a preseason, call in the Super Bowl, and that's in my head. And it seemed like it got changed slightly.
There was a couple where I think guys sold it. A couple of the highest.
With Tarasenko, like that dude, like that one penalty, I don't know who it was, but I think they called it might be elbowing or a high hit, whatever they called it. Like he kind of like hit his shoulder and maybe kind of like a little bit, but that guy act like he took a straight to the jaw. And it's like on a replay, it's like, dude, no, you did not get hit in the jaw. And the thing is, and it's not like he embellished it. Like sometimes people like catch a high stick and they embellish it a little bit. That wasn't even. He did not get hit in the jaw at all, and that's the stuff that really me off, because it's like I just hate and I hate people. Now I'm not saying flopping, because it's not like he went, he killed me, but like I hate that. That just gets on the nerves because it's like you're playing a grown man's sport. This ain't soccer. Like, stop. Like,
You gotta do what you gotta do, though.
I know. It just makes me, especially when some of the stuff where there was, I don't know if it was in game 3 or 4, but it was in the first one pretty early on. Someone from the Blues hit Backus up pretty high. You don't see Backus like, referee, what's the call? 2-minute penalty. The guy got up and took it in, but they don't see that. But it's like, all I ask for just consistency. If you're gonna keep it that way, let them do it all. The whole series. If you're gonna call it tight and like kind of ticky tack stuff, call it that way. The whole series. That's all. All I ask for is consistency, and I'll live with that at that point. And real quick, I have a ticky tack call because I have a question for you.
Yes.
How in the blank was that ticky tacky on that one call? Delay of game penalty. How was that ticky tacky though?
It was a little bit. It was a little ticky tacky. I mean, it wasn't
in
that
terms
hard.
of how though, but it was.
All right, you win that.
It's not an intentional.
All right, you win that one. You win that one.
Yeah, because it's not like it's not. No one's really gonna ever do it intentionally, especially. It's gonna because I'm pretty sure they can review it too. I'm pretty sure they can review that to save that because they review stuff. They can review offsides and all that stuff. But it's like you need because the thing with the Bruins now that it's 2-2. Yes, I think they can win in game 5 in Boston, but St. Louis is such a good team on the road. Yeah. Like I think they're 8. I think at the time I heard this 8-3, it might have gotten changed, but. Now the feeling and the momentum is now with the Blues. Like I said, if it's 3-1, I fully guarantee you Bruins closing it out in 5. Sorry, excuse me. But now that it's not and it's 2-2, there's a chance Blues can win this game. And now it's 3-2, and you're going back to St. Louis. So right now, especially with Chara, you don't know what's saying. Now Chara, I want to ask her. I was like, I understand your jaw's broken. Now it's a big ask, for the guy. But I want to like, how is your pain? Like pain? Can you tolerate it? Like to what extent? Like I need, even if it was something like he didn't play a ton of time. When it's like 5-on-5, 4-on-4, I need at least out there for the penalty kill because the guy helps out so much on the penalty kill, but. Right now, you need to, again, regain the momentum, bro. That's what you need to do in Game 5.
And that's what they got to do in Game 5. They got to win Game 5 and then close it out in Game 6 in St. Louis. So that's going to wrap it up this week for my co-hosts, Kyle Galuli and Justin D'Onofrio. I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next Wednesday talking. The Stanley Cup could be over, so we could be recapping the Stanley Cup or previewing Game 7 because that would be Wednesday night. Same thing in the NBA. We could be recapping the NBA Finals or previewing Game 6 because that would be Thursday night. And maybe we'll talk a little bit of baseball. So have a great weekend, everybody.
Excuse me.